The other concern that I have, so this is your cervical spine. So those are the two areas. Now when we go down to where you should have something, there really wasn't anything. So the lumbar spine and the thoracic spine, not so bad. That's good. The brain, the reason why I did the brain is because I just wanted to get a better picture of what was going on. There is a little lesion in the brain, okay? These are white matter lesions. This is gray, even though this looks like the white part. The white part is actually gray matter, and the stuff that looks gray is actually white matter. So all the stuff inside this little squiggle is white matter. White matter is, when you have a cord, it's got plastic on it, and it helps it to communicate faster. So, you know, when we put an electrical cord and we strip it down and we don't put the plastic, the information doesn't get to where it needs to go as fast, okay? So white matter is myelinated. It has the plastic on the cord, basically. This stuff does not have plastic on the cord. So that's why it looks white when you actually look at the brain. You open it up and you look at the brain. Not an MRI, but the real brain.
Okay.
White matter lesions, this type of linear projection that you're seeing right there, this is me cutting like this. When you see them, that's right there, kind of, they look a little fluffy, puffy like that, and they kind of go into the corpus callosum a little bit, and they are linear like that. Those are called Dawson's fingers. And this has an ovoid appearance, meaning it's rounded. All of these features look to me and to the imagers to be a bit more acceptable for a diagnosis of multiple sclerosis as opposed to transverse myelitis. At first I thought you had transverse myelitis, which is just in the cord. That's it. It's a very concerning thing, which is why we brought you back today, because you have to treat it immediately so that you don't have prolonged symptoms, you know, for the rest of your life type thing. So I needed you in here today to confirm this and diagnose it and treat it, okay? The issue is that the brain actually showed some lesions too, so this leads me more down the multiple sclerosis track, okay? That being said, I need a diagnosis because you have those bright ones on contrast, I need to treat you today. Like I need you treated right now. We need to preserve every cell that's there. We don't want things to go on for weeks and weeks and have struggles, because those lesions are actively demyelinating, meaning they're taking the cord cover off.
Okay.
The cells are taking the cord cover off, okay? And then your body tries to reproduce them and put them back again, but it's never the same. So we don't want them to do that. We want to protect them from doing that, okay? It looks like you had, you know, one up in here that might have been here for a while too. And it might have been bright at one point in time, but it's not. We call them burned out. They kind of get burned out. They'll come and go, those kinds of things. I need to diagnose you, so if you guys are okay with it, I have a doctor upstairs who's very good at it. I need to do a lumbar puncture on you today. I hate to say that.
Okay.
But the reason being is because once I put steroid in you, which is what I also want to do with you today to make this stop, the lumbar puncture is niggling. It means nothing. Because I put steroid into you, so everything looks hunky-dory and fine. But once I do that, it's garbage.
Okay.
Puncture's garbage. I have to get an LP, and I have to get the fluid out to get a diagnosis. What's the right thing to do? But I don't want to wait a week to get the diagnosis back officially and have you have trouble walking for now, for forever. You know, we're not doing that. We're not playing that game. We're going to treat you, okay? Ideally, I want you to get 5 days of infusion therapy of steroid. Okay, I can do 2 outpatient. I can do 1 today. I can do 1 tomorrow in our infusion center. You can go home. I have to figure out where I can do Saturday and Sunday, because unfortunately it falls at a funny time. Saturday, I might end up having to send you into Children's Hospital for 2 days just to get the infusions, and then, you know, Monday we could do it. I don't know if they would make me admit you, or if they would allow you to do it in the ER. We're making some phone calls right now.
Okay.
But I do want 5 days just because there's 2 lesions. Usually sometimes we'll do 3 days, and I prefer to do that.
Okay.
There's also an immediate care on Maple that I might be able to get them to do it outpatient. I just don't know if they have the medicine at the volume that I need.
Okay.
So we're going to call for you. We'll figure it out. After we get you through this phase, when I get the spinal fluid back, we have to talk a little bit about long-term type treatments and how to prevent things from this from happening again.
So is that why it's numbing on? Okay.
Because it's taking the cord off there, so the neurons are communicating, so you're still having sensation, you're still having feeling, they're just not communicating the proper way. The interesting part is that it's much lower than where we actually see the lesion, but that doesn't matter. At this point in time, we know what's going on and we need to treat it. Okay, so Dr. Kang is another one of our headache specialists. He will do the LP if it's okay with you guys. I'm going to send you up right now.
Okay.
He's ready. Have you ever had, you've never had anything like this before?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Women have it all the time when they have a baby. They have an epidural. So it's almost the same thing. He probably is going to have you lay down, or he'll have you sit up. And what they do is they put a little needle in between. You can feel the spinous processes, those pokey parts in your back. Put a little needle in, they'll draw a little of the spinal fluid out. They're not going to touch your spinal cord, okay? They just touch the fluid. It's more of a pressure than anything. It just feels like someone's an intense pressure on your back, okay? He'll numb the area to make it so it doesn't hurt, but I mean, it's a little bit of a pressure. So, got to do it and get it over with. That's it, okay? There's a risk of having a lumbar puncture, of having a spinal headache after it. Okay, so if you get a headache after the lumbar puncture, we know that there's a small risk of it, 10%. He can do a perfect puncture, but you could still get a spinal headache. The spinal headache, I'm going to explain to you what it is. If you get that, you have to tell me, okay? So what you do is spinal headache is worse when you sit up, and it's not so bad when you lay down. You feel great when you lay down. When you sit up, it's like, okay? That is time limited. It'll go away. All it means is that some of the fluid is still leaking out, and we just need to let it close up again. It happens to women who have the epidurals as well sometimes, too. I had one. It's a bad headache. But I will treat you for it if that happens, okay? Just to let me know. Don't think that it's weird. Once you get the LP, you can use Tylenol, but don't use aspirin or ibuprofen because there will be more bleeding. It won't close faster. So just Tylenol for a little while. Okay? Do you have questions? Do you understand everything we talked about? I don't mean to be.
Yeah, I know.
I just, because it's a lot of information.
It
I'm
is.
giving you
It's
in
like,
a very short
wow.
period of time.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The good news is we have an answer for you and that we can aggressively go to town on treating this right now and fix this issue. The bigger issue is that we have to try to prevent things like this from happening and keep a close eye on you and try to treat you. Okay? So things are going to change a little bit. All right? Doesn't mean
Would the numbing ever go away, or is it gonna?
I'm hopeful with the steroids that she's gonna improve and that hopefully we can get it back. The cord is swollen. It's angry. You know. I mean, well, you can see the top one. You can't really see the bottom one on here, but because it's anything that enhances with contrast. When the contrast is given, it means it's going on now. Anything that doesn't enhance with contrast, like this one right here, happened a while ago. Either that or it's. Anytime it starts to happen, it's bright. So from now on in your life, if ever you have any loss of vision changes, weakness on one side of the body, numbness and tingling, anything funky, I'm your best friend, and you're going to call me, and we're going to talk about what we're going to do, okay? And you're going to start taking a calcium and vitamin D supplement every day, because if we have to use steroids in the future, we want to keep your bones very good. Okay?
Now, how does that work for sports?
There's no restrictions for MS for sports. You might feel more fatigued. During an MS exacerbation, you're amazing to me because during these exacerbations, a lot of times they call them MS exacerbations, people will feel very tired and winded, and they just feel like they can't do anything. They're exhausted, especially in the heat. The heat's going to make you feel worse than cool. So, that being said, if that's not happening for you, go for it. Fine. But listen to your body. So you're going to have to
Work with it.
pay attention. Doesn't mean you're not going to do the same things that you did. I just need to get you back to where it's supposed to be right now. That's my main concern. The other stuff is on a back burner until we're done treating her for this. I just need to get her back so we can get the spine working correctly again.
Okay.
Okay. But it is not a tumor. It is not. I mean, so good. There's positive here. Okay. I know this is a lot to handle, but it could have been worse. I hate to say it that way, but it is not a bad thing. We can treat it.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, since we live in Jamestown, I mean, it's probably best that we probably, like my mom and my dad lives in Dunkirk. I probably should stay in Dunkirk since I'll be back up here tomorrow.
Whatever you need to do is fine. You can go to Orchard Park and get the infusion as well. I wanted Jim to get a gram of steroid. We can do that in Orchard Park, okay?
Tomorrow.
Yeah, can you help him with that? And then I'm trying to figure out if we need to do it at Children's on Saturday and Sunday, or if we can do it at the immediate care. I don't know if the immediate care has it, if they would do an outpatient infusion for us like that. I don't know.
How long does that,
An hour.
okay.
An hour.
And then maybe we could do it in Orchard Park on Monday.
And Monday we can do it, yeah. So the only thing I worry about is Saturday and Sunday. We'll figure it out for you.
Is there any
Okay.
place in Jamestown that can?
I
Or
don't know.
Dunkirk? What about Brooks?
I don't know if they would do an outpatient infusion because it's not an emergency, but it is kind of an emergency because she's having an exacerbation. So I just have to finesse this a little bit and see how it's all about coverage and insurance. And
Of
how
course,
people are
yeah.
viewed. So I just have to figure out who's going to be able to work with me a little bit.
Okay.
Okay.
See, I'll call Mike and have him make sure that he has something for tomorrow and Monday.
Mhm.
And I'll call Brooks Hospital. I actually still have some friends there. So
Okay.
I'll see if I can find
And see if
anything
they
out.
would do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Perfect.
Okay.
In the meantime, we'll take you upstairs.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
And then you want her to come back
Thank you.
down here so you can to give her the infusion?